Hi, I'm Sarah Savage, and this is my Risk Management Matrix project. In this video, I will walk you through two real-world aviation scenarios and show how we can use a risk management matrix to assess and mitigate those risks. These examples are based on my own experience flying tailwheel aircraft like the Citabria, where risk management is an essential part of every flight. The picture on the left is a picture I took of an aircraft that came into the Longview Airport. The chart on our left is a standard 5x5 risk management matrix. We use it to assess the likelihood of a hazard occurring and its severity, if it does. Risks in the red zone are unacceptable and require immediate mitigation. Those in the yellow are moderate, and green are generally acceptable with basic monitoring. Scenario 1. A crosswind landing in a tailwheel aircraft. On gusty days, landing with a strong crosswind component can cause a ground loop, a dangerous situation where the aircraft veers uncontrollably during rollout. Some of the risks are a ground loop due to crosswind landing. The likelihood is likely because it happens under certain wind conditions, and the severity is major because it can cause serious damage to the aircraft and injury. Let's look at some of the mitigation actions we can take to make this less severe. 1. We could review crosswind techniques prior to the flight. We can limit max demonstrated crosswind components to personal minimums. We could choose an alternate runway into the wind, or we could even delay the flight until the wind conditions improve. After mitigation, the residual risk drops to unlikely and minor, which is acceptable for flight, which we will look at in the next slide. Here's the chart again I showed you in the first slide. For the crosswind landing in a Citabria before mitigation, the risk matrix with this scenario plotted as likely and major, which is a high risk in the top right red zone. After mitigation, the residual risk drops to unlikely and minor, which is acceptable for flight at low risk in the bottom left green area. Scenario 2. Maintenance oversight. Failing to verify logbooks before flight, let's just say preparing for a flight, and the annual inspection has just been completed, but no one double-checked that all discrepancies were signed off. You risk flying with unresolved airworthiness issues, high risk to moderate risk. Some of the risks are the hazard is incomplete or incorrect maintenance records. The likelihood is occasional because we're humans and we make errors, which is possible during paperwork. And the severity is catastrophic because it can result in flight system failures. Some of the mitigation actions we can take are always perform detailed logbook review for signing off flight, require dual sign-off for major maintenance, implement a checklist for post-maintenance verification, or we can establish open communication with maintenance personnel. Now we'll look at the chart again on the next slide. For the maintenance oversight, failing to verify logbooks before flight, before the mitigation, risk matrix with this plotted as possible and catastrophic, which is the high risk in the top right red section. After mitigation, the risk matrix with residual risk plotted as unlikely major, which is in the yellow risk, moderate risk in the yellow, which is in the bottom right, which is still not great, but it's much better than high. To summarize both the scenarios, on the left we have a crosswind landing scenario. Initially, high risk situation, but after practical mitigations, it moves to a low risk zone. On the right, for scenario 2, the maintenance oversight begins as a critical risk due to its severity, but by tightening our verification process, the residual risk becomes moderate and manageable. This side-by-side matrix view clearly shows how proactive strategies can significantly reduce aviation risks. In conclusion, risk management is not just paperwork, it's a mindset. By identifying hazards, evaluating risks, and applying meaningful mitigation strategies, we turn unacceptable risks into manageable ones. Whether you're flying solo in a Citabria or managing a larger operation, tools like the Risk Management Matrix help keep you safe and airworthy. Thank you for watching.